Welcome back, guys. Welcome to our studio. By popular demand, I have now kicked Zach off the show. It's just me now. I run the company. I'm just kidding. But if only. By popular demand, here I am. I'm here to share all the most recent news on the Athens community and Huntsville greater area and give you some tips. And we have an activity planned of what you can do at home with your kids, especially given all the weather that we've been having in Alabama. It's been a lot of rain. I woke up last night and it was like cracking of thunder. It was terrifying. But my dog is like completely cool with it. You would think that my dog would not be cool with it because you hear about all the dogs having to wear thunder jackets. But she was a rescue, so the first 6 months of her life, she was just outside, like in this rural outdoor shelter. But yeah, it was a really awesome local shelter called A New Leash on Life, and I love them, and they do a lot of foster programs. So we're going to get a little bit into that later. If you are at all interested in fostering a pet, they are a wonderful source of love during this time of uncertainty that we can get into later. So, going back to Conroe, we now have a live website, conroehome.com. If you would like to check out all the products that we have for sale and schedule a private shopping experience, go to dial 256-240-0330. Again, 256-240-0330. You can also message us on Facebook. I scheduled a lady yesterday to have a private shopping experience today. Shout out to you, Joanne. I hope you enjoyed your shopping experience, and feel free to message us if you would like to schedule your private shopping experience, and check out our website for all the products that we still have available. We had to postpone our home and design show due to KIV, the governor's most recent order that we postponed everything up until April 6th. So we will update you when it gets a little bit closer and as things kind of unravel on our new date. We're not sure quite yet what date that will be, but it will definitely be a Friday and Saturday, hopefully in April. So get excited for that. We have a lot of food trucks coming. We're going to have a bouncy house. We have almost 20 local businesses that are going to be there wanting to talk to you and meet your needs, your housing and design needs. I know we're going to have a bunch of furniture there from a local furniture vendor, and it's going to be awesome. So other news, I have good news first. I'm going to start with the good news. Tax date, so the last day to file your taxes has been extended. It was April 15th. Now it is July 15th. So you're in luck. If you still have to file your taxes, you have until July to do that, which is thankfully really good. So yeah, here's the IRS official statement that you can wait until July if you need to. Also, in other good news, I was reading last night about the housing market in Huntsville. I was a little worried, because our company does a lot of remodels on houses and helping realtors out selling houses. I was doing some research, and the housing market is still going strong in the area. We have a lot of new companies that are still coming to the Huntsville area. And realtors said that homes in February were on the market for an average of 40 days. There were 180 homes for sale, and 544 of them were sold. Our local market is doing a lot better than the national average, which is 80 days, whereas we, on average, have only been having houses on the market for 40 days. So still going strong. I was talking to one of our realtors this morning, and she was showing one of our houses, and she was saying that she was bringing some wipes and some hand sanitizer just to have that extra precaution for our clients and make sure that we're all staying safe in these scary times. So yeah, feel free to continue to be looking for houses. I mean, it's super fun. That was really fun for me and my husband to look at houses, go on Zillow, and a lot of the houses you can see without having a realtor with you. There's a lot of apps on your phone that you can actually use where they give you the code to get in the house, like the little block box that's on the doorknob, and you can actually view the home by yourself. But definitely all of our realtors are coming with hand sanitizer and hand wipes just to make sure that you're safe while you're viewing our houses. Other news, going back to fostering animals. I talked to the Athens Humane Society, and they are still accepting foster parents, new foster parents. And they're really excited because you can just go to their website under the volunteer tab and fill out the foster application. When you do that, they'll just set you right up. They don't do a home visit or anything. You just fill out the application, and then you can come on by and pick up an animal once they contact you. They're also accepting donations for dry and wet cat and dog food, kitty litter, and other, pet supplies that you might have laying around your house, or maybe you feel like the need to help out the community. So feel free to do that. They're definitely hurting in this time because people maybe aren't adopting as much as they usually do. So yeah, definitely look into fostering. Definitely be a good resource for you and your kids to have, a little furry animal to train and cuddle with on your couch while you're watching Netflix. So that's one thing that is like always sad about going to work, is I have to leave my dog at home. But yeah, Zach has his dog, and my dog, I'll have to show you a picture, but my dog looks just like Duke, Zach's dog, but it's a girl. So one day I'm going to bring Duke home, and they're going to have a good play date. But yeah, in other news, fostering animals and the housing market being good, the tax date being extended, you can also donate blood. There's a huge national blood shortage, and I was looking on how we could help that situation out in Huntsville. And you can go to Life South Community Blood Center off of Madison Boulevard and donate blood. They're not letting anybody work there who has any symptoms that I know of. I talked to a nurse that works at Huntsville Hospital, and she said that there is a huge shortage, and they really do need people to go in and donate blood for the people that are still undergoing surgeries and operations in our area. If you donate whole blood, that only takes 20 minutes. If you donate platelets, which they're in more dire need of, that takes about an hour. But you're welcome to wear a mask while you're donating blood if you worry about contracting anything while you're there, if there's other people there. Also, just keep in mind, it is an airborne disease, not a blood-borne disease. There are different kind of classes of diseases, so you won't be getting, COVID-19 as we know, as far as we know, through any sort of blood interactions. It's purely, through your nose and mouth and eyes. So yeah, I'm excited for that. My husband and I do plan on doing that in the next few days. So if you would like to come with us, if you're, kind of scared of needles, I know my dad is. I always went with him whenever he had to get a blood sample for his doctor growing up. So yeah, if you ever, are interested in doing that, you can reach out to us, and I'd be glad to go with you. You can also, which I didn't put in here, sorry, Connor, there's also plasma centers in Huntsville, which is different than what I was just talking about. They pay you to donate plasma, which takes about an hour, but that's a huge resource for my husband and I. Well, not a huge resource. It was a resource for money for my husband and I when we were in grad school. We went like 5 times, and they paid us about $500. I don't know if that's how it is in this area, but there are 2 plasma centers in the Huntsville area. If you're at all, in a pinch, go donate plasma. It's a great cause, and it will help you pay your bills. So good thing to look out for. There's also other remote jobs that we talked about last week, like we work remotely and Upwork. So keep that in mind, and feel free to reach out to us if you need any help finding any remote jobs or if you're in a pinch. All right, so in other news, Huntsville has declared a state of emergency. Mayor Battle has, and he is giving nightly press conferences on the situation in Huntsville. So because he has declared a state of emergency, he could potentially enforce a curfew, shut down local businesses. But right now he's saying that's not necessary. He's keeping public transit open, and trash pickup is resuming, is continuing as normal. In Huntsville, the courthouse and everything is still open. In Athens, they're having a city council meeting tonight at 5. They're live streaming it. So this is in order to go along with the state mandated social distancing guidelines. Tonight's city council meeting will be on YouTube, and here is the link to it. The public will be able to call in and participate in the scheduled public hearing, and during this time they will read petitions, applications, complaints, appeals, etc. And this will start at approximately 4:50. The live stream will. The public will be instructed when to call in. The phone will not be answered except during the times of public input. So they'll be talking, and then all of a sudden they'll be like, okay, now is open for public input, and then you can call in and they will buzz you in. They are limited to 2 minutes, and it has to be on topic. If it is another topic, they'll tell you to call back. And there is an approximately 30-second delay, so you'll need to, turn down your volume so there won't be any feedback if you're on speaker, I guess. And there's a limited number of incoming phone lines, so please be patient while you're calling. So the phone number is 256-262-1430, 256-262-1430. So you can call in anything regarding COVID-19, any questions or concerns that you have regarding how we're handling that in Athens. And feel free to leave those in the comments. We can be talking about those, Zach and I, throughout the week. Really important news, something I want you guys to make sure you know about. There is a severe storm warning for Tuesday. That's tomorrow. Okay, so make sure you have a plan in place if you happen to need to take shelter. There are a lot of community shelters in our area. Almost every fire station in the Athens area is a storm shelter. So if you need to take shelter, or are living in some type of home that you don't feel like would be safe if a tornado were to come through, definitely go ahead and head over to the fire station tomorrow afternoon just to make sure that you're safe. Better safe than sorry. So we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about some activities. I have 3 activities I'm going to talk about. The first thing that my husband and I were doing this weekend actually is some spring cleaning. So I recently made a career change, so I had just all sorts of stuff from my last job that I no longer needed. So we went through the house and just kind of purged everything that I didn't feel like I would use in the near future. And we actually had like 3 mice living in our garage, and they were adorable. So we haven't mustered up the courage to trap them in official mouse traps yet. But you should have seen us, like, we were both holding brooms, like trying to scurry them out of the garage, even though they could probably just come back in under the garage door. But it was pretty hilarious evening. And then I went over to Goodwill and donated a bunch of stuff that I don't feel like I'm going to use anymore. So feel free to do that. Use this time to spruce up your house and get it open for new stuff from ConroeHome.com. So get excited for that. It is spring. Everything is blooming in my backyard, and we're planting all these new vegetables and fruit. So I'm really excited to see that. I think this is one of my favorite seasons. It used to be summer, but I was so worried that all my plants had died off, once winter came, and it's just so exciting to see all the plants that are coming back to life now that it's warming up again. 2 other things, podcasts. So I know it can be hard with everybody at your house. Everybody's always watching TV, and you can't ever watch anything you want to watch, or there's always so much going on. You always have little tasks around the house to do. I suggest listening to podcasts. That's one thing that I love to do. And 2 that I'm going to suggest today. One is called Dear Sugars, and it's these 2, I don't think they're psychologists, but they're just like a man and a woman, and they kind of give advice. People will write letters about a situation in their life. Usually it's like family or love related. And actors and actresses, from Hollywood will come in and read the letter, and then the host will come in and kind of give advice. And it's pretty interesting, just hearing people's histories and stories. Another one I would suggest is the Hank and John podcast. Dear Hank and John is hilarious. It's kid friendly. They have all sorts of science and sports questions and discussions on there that are really for everybody. It's hilarious. I was listening to one earlier. So those are my 2 podcast suggestions today, Dear Sugars and Dear Hank and John. we are going to start putting these live streams in podcast form so you can listen to them on Apple Podcasts as well. I listen to them as I'm falling asleep. I know that's I don't know if that's an insult to the people that are hosting the podcast, but I don't think it is because I enjoy it. But it kind of helps put my mind at ease. So I stop, thinking about all the things that I'm thinking about, and I just focus on their conversation. And then finally my brain's kind of able to go to sleep. So I definitely would suggest that. Find a podcast that's not too scary or crime related and try and fall asleep. So I'm going to move on to my last thing, my strawberry DNA extraction. So I had originally planned for Zach and I to do this together. So I brought strawberries in 2 different bags, but it's just me, so I'm going to do it by myself. That's okay. All right, so if you have any sort of fruit at home, this can be a strawberry, this can be a banana, kiwi, anything fruit. You can really do it with any sort of food or produce. But we're going to do it with a strawberry today. I used to do this with my students every year back when I was a teacher. And now you can do it at home because I'm going to teach you how. So take a strawberry. I took a frozen one. And I put it in a bag, and you're going to macerate it, okay? That means break it up, okay? What this does is it breaks down the cell wall of the plants, okay? And now I'm going to add a solution that's water, salt, and detergent. So I was kind of running low of dishwasher detergent. I put it in some water with some salt in there. What this does is it creates a positively charged solution. So when you combine that with the strawberries, it's going to bind or attract to the DNA backbone. Okay? Because the DNA backbone is made of phosphate, which is negatively charged. So when they combine together, it neutralizes. So you're going to continue to macerate it, right? That just means break it up. It's a fancy word. What this does is it's starting to break down not only the cell wall, but the nuclear envelope and the nucleus of your cells, right? Because a strawberry is a living thing. Just has different looking cells than us, okay? We have animal cells. They have plant cells, okay? So now that you've macerated it, kind of should look like this, kind of gross. You're gonna put it in a jar that has either isopropyl alcohol or ethanol, or you could even use nail polish remover, okay? So I don't have too much of this, so feel free to use more than I'm using. I'm just running low. My husband uses this as campfire fuel, so it has all sorts of, you can't see it, but all sorts of black char on it. So let me slow this down. Took a strawberry, I put it in a plastic bag. It can be a fresh strawberry, it can be a frozen strawberry, it can be any fruit. And I mashed it up with my fingers. After I did that, I poured a solution in it into the bag that had water, dishwash soap. It doesn't have to be dishwash soap, it can be any soap, and salt. I swirled it around, I added it to the bag. Okay? So, you'll kind of start to see it separate, but you'll really see it separate when you add it into the ethanol. Now, remember, ethanol is flammable, so don't keep it near the stove. You make sure you do this at the kitchen table away from the stove. Okay. Getting soap in my hair. Okay, so you're going to add your solution to the ethanol. When you do this, you're adding a neutral solution to a you're neutralizing the solution, and you're going to see it to start to separate. Now, it's kind of out of focus. I don't know how to fix it, but you can kind of see how all of a sudden this white mucus is starting to form above the red strawberry mixture. So let's see. Okay, so see all that mucus? That mucus is DNA. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. You're like, how do you know that's DNA? Okay, it's mostly chemistry, the reason that I can justify this. Okay, so isopropyl alcohol and ethanol are completely soluble in water. That means that it's going to start dissolving in water. Because DNA is a polar molecule, right, it has a charge, it's insoluble in a nonpolar liquid. So that means it's going to start to rise to the top, just like how oil separates from water. The DNA is now going to separate from your solution because this is polar and this is nonpolar. All right, so DNA essentially falls out. The DNA becomes visible, but the other cellular materials dissolve down here at the bottom. So now you can take a fork, or really anything, and scoop all of your DNA out. Now, I don't want the other pieces, I just want the DNA. So, before it looked like a strawberry, and now you can see this white stringy material, which is your DNA. And usually I have some sort of fancy cup you can put it in, but today I don't. So, this is your DNA. It's kind of gross, but it's cool, and it's something that you and your kids can do. You can talk about what is DNA, how is DNA different in a plant versus an animal. You guys can do coloring, free coloring pages online of a plant cell versus an animal cell. You can create Venn diagrams, what's a plant, what's an animal. And what else could you talk about? You could talk about where you find DNA, how is it extracted, so make them explain how you guys did it. What does it look like? Find some pictures online. There's all sorts of coloring pages. I can tell you as a teacher, those were so valuable to me in teaching this topic to them, to my students. So feel free to do that and let me know what you think of this activity. If you think it was fun, or if you want more activities like this, I have all sorts of DNA related activities that I could do with you and demonstrate. So remember, all you need: strawberry, plastic bag, dishwasher soap, salt, isopropyl alcohol, and a fork. So thank you for joining me. Feel free to leave your comments and concerns below, and we can address those. Remember that our event that was coming up this weekend is delayed until April. We will update you when we know more. We're just going to wait a little bit and see what Kay Ivy has to say once April 6th comes around, if she was going to, continue the stay at home or the social distancing policy, or if we can resume, life as usual. But of course, she probably doesn't know that because we don't all know that. So look forward to that. Head over to conroehome.com to look at all of our inventory. Call that phone number if you would like to schedule a private shopping experience. Thanks so much, guys.